Now, yesterday, after I had uploaded the video, I came back and I looked at these where I had painted the black, and I was noticing that in some places I had sort of missed. So I went around with my little brush again, and on these two aircraft here, I just put a little bit more paint, and I've got it, you might say, a little bit better than it was before. Now, as for this other one here, I just left it the way it was. Now today I want to try and do something with the propellers, and did a little bit of research and listened to what the different viewers were suggesting. And this morning I probably spent about an hour on the internet Googling the AR-196, trying to find color photos of it. Not colorized photos, but actual color photos, and they're very rare. Maybe only 1 in 100 is color. And it wasn't really definitive as to what color it was, although it did appear that the propellers on this particular plane were painted, and it was, some of them were green and some of them were very dark, maybe a dark green or a black. Anyway, let's put on the super macro and we'll zoom in on one of these. Look right at the front there, because I said yesterday that I was going to do that, and we'll have a nice close look here. Not as close as we can get, but halfway as close. It's not even 10 o'clock here yet in Winnipeg this morning, and I should warn you right at the beginning of this episode, it could be short. I have to go out twice today. I have to go out in a few minutes this morning for a while, and then I have to go out again this afternoon. So that's really going to cut into my fun time here, at the model table, which means the episode is probably going to be quite short. Just a forewarning in case you didn't notice that it was already short. Okay, so anyway, here we are at 2.5 times power. The super macro's on, and this is the way the aircraft would look if it was flying directly towards you, probably a split second before you met your maker. And here we are, same aircraft, and we zoom in on it a little bit to full power. This is as close as I can get with the super macro, and you'll notice around the front of the cowling where I'm going to have to repaint. Okay, let's check Stefan's book. Open it up here to the aircraft section. And let's see what color he's painted his drawings here. I'll hang the camera up and we'll zoom right in and we'll try and figure it out. Well, they're definitely not a bright aluminum or metal color. Some sort of a gray or green or black, maybe black. This one here sort of shows up the best. I'll zoom in on this one right here. Okay, it's slightly overexposed to bring out the color of the dark propeller. Anyway, the float plane is being pulled out of hangar number 3 on removable tracks. Now, clearly, it's not aluminum. I did find some more pictures. Now, my own personal experience with real airplane propellers has only been dealing with propellers that were not as old as this. Although my dad did fly an aircraft that was probably from that era. It was called a Stinson Reliant. I do believe, though, that the prop was metal. And I began to say that my experience with propellers, where are they here? Okay, is that the back side of the propeller, in other words, on the back side here that I'm touching, facing you, was painted a flat black so that it didn't reflect light. And the idea is, and this is kind of interesting, and I've never experienced this, but the thinking was that when you're throttled back and coming in for a landing, and say the prop is turning over at only 800,000 RPM or whatever, and you're throttled right back, if the sun was from behind you and reflecting off the back of the prop and flashing in your eyes like a strobe light, the very slow strobing at a particular RPM can cause sort of a hypnotic or you can almost go into convulsions, they say. Now, this is what I was taught when I went to ground school. I don't know if it's true or not, but the idea is that you do not want the back of the propeller reflecting in your eyes. You know, if it was at high speed, let's say you're cruising along, you're going 2,500 RPM, and let's say it's a two-bladed prop like I was experienced with. So that would mean that you'd be having about 5,000 flashes per minute. Well, that would almost look like a continuous light. But I guess the slow strobing, it can cause you to sort of like pass out. And that's the last thing you want to do when you're coming in for a landing. Anyway, let's this one here, it's already the right color. I just got to touch up where I got the black on the spinner. I know you probably can't see it away back there. And just a little bit more personal trivia here that nobody cares about except me. And that is the Stinson Reliant, pictured here. That's the actual one that my dad flew. Now this picture is taken from the front in a snowstorm. A little bit of icing going on there on the wings, you might say. Anyway, you can clearly see that the front of the propeller, it looks to me like it was probably aluminum. And that plane was developed around the same time as the AR-196 was. And I think the Stinson Reliant was first flown in 1933. It goes that far back. It was a vintage airplane. It was an old airplane already when I was a 6-year-old kid and rode in it for the first time with my parents. Anyway, now if you look at it from the back, you can clearly see that the back side of the propeller has been painted. And and that's what we were talking about. Back side is dark, front side is aluminum color or metal. Now, this was on a civilian airplane, not a military airplane. One more thing. This actual aircraft, CFOAY, is on display in an aviation museum in Edmonton, Alberta, right now. Very shortly, I'm going to have to leave for my second, I guess you call it, appointment. And that means that we probably shouldn't be trying to get at the painting today. I thought we'd probably get these painted, but I want to be able to take my time at it. So we're going to leave it for episode 338, and that will be tomorrow, all being well. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.